Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Beekeeper Tarot. My name is Alan. So once again, thank you for watching my videos and liking. And I have a new subscriber, so welcome aboard. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, so I just wanted to say all of that. And yeah, just to say thank you. And I'm very grateful for the community that I have here. Absolutely. And what we're achieving together here. What I wanted to talk about today was the news that Justin Trudeau has resigned. So, apparently, from what I can understand, and not being a Canadian, so I've done a bit of a read on this. So, I believe that his finance minister resigned in December last year, and there's been a lot of infighting within his party, which is a liberal. So, liberal means more progressive in Canada, like it does in the US. Liberal Party in Australia means conservative. So I've got to always try and think of it in the other way. So my understanding is what's happening now with Canada is that the Parliament has been dissolved until mid-March, mid to late March, until they can get they can get a new leader for the Liberal Party in Canada to replace Justin Trudeau. And then, from my understanding, there is a Canadian election coming up later in the year, and that was one of the things that facilitated Justin Trudeau's resigning because apparently he has been very unpopular in the polls, and the and his party were very concerned that they're just going to get annihilated in the next election. Unfortunately, there does seem to be worldwide a shift to the right. Definitely, what is happening in the USA, entertainment only YouTube. So I just wanted to have a look at Canada and Justin Trudeau and just see if we can make any sense of this from an esoterical point of view. All right, guys, come on down. So Justin Trudeau, what's happening with you? What led to this and what's your immediate future going to be? Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau. Right. Trudeau. Trudeau. Okay. Let's have a look-see. Government. Hmm. Yep. Queen of Swords. Wow. Queen of Cups. Okay, guys, come on up. Okay, folks, so what I've got at the heart of what's been happening with Justin Trudeau is the Hierophant. So this is the government and yeah, the Canadian government that Justin Trudeau clearly was a part of. What was crossing it was the Knight of Cups. I'm beginning to thinking that there was maybe some false messaging coming towards Justin Trudeau, maybe people with their own agendas, but there was a lot of emotion going on as well, I think, behind the scenes with the Canadian Parliament and the Legislative Council of Canada and people along those lines. And I think that was what was really opposing Justin Trudeau. And I think people were just really concerned about the government. And I think the Liberal Party were concerned about maintaining government after the election. And so there was a lot of messaging going on as well, but it was quite emotional as well. Going into it, Justin Trudeau, I think he was trying to balance out what to do with the temperance card, like trying to yeah, work out what he should do, whether he should go and whether he should stay. And I'm sorry about the glare, but if you look at the temperance card, you'll see that the angel has got one foot in the water and another foot on the land. And I think I think Justin Trudeau was very, very much trying to find that balance between what he was feeling emotionally and also trying to ground himself and just trying to find the light in the situation as the sun was there, as the sun was coming up, and just trying to find some balance because he actually did feel quite trapped with the Eight of Swords. Now, the thing with the Eight of Swords is like the person is feeling trapped, but They're actually not. If they look into the water, if they can take their blindfold off and follow their intuition, and they'll realize that the blindfold can come off, and also the ties around the person, this lady in the card, can come off as well. And then they're going to understand that they weren't bound up at all. And I think that's where Justin Trudeau was. I think he was very much trying to maintain that status quo and remain as prime minister. This is the recent history. But I think now what's happened is he's just he thought, bugger it, son, he just needs to break free. So I'd say that a lot of the messaging that was going on, like I said, with the Page of Cups, was actually, in a way, it was limiting him as well. And maybe those messages was what was kind of also binding him as well. So he just needs to get it off his chest. He needs to just pardon me for a second, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, he just needs to get on that horse and shine the light on the situation. I think he's just made that clean break. And I think for him, it's a state of freedom. And I think he's just going to, with the Knight of Pentacles, I think he's slowly going to hand over the prime ministership to somebody else to manage. And I see Justin Trudeau here. And once again, I'm not Canadian and I don't know the full ins and out of the Canadian Parliament or the Canadian um, society. But it's almost like it's a slow transfer, which is what's happening because it's going to take until I think mid-March for them to have a to collect or decide a new leader. So I think the focus of Justin Trudeau right now is really just setting himself free from those binds of the past where he was prime minister, and also just slowly, like in a way you can almost say, handing over the conch. And in the near future, I think the Queen of Swords, I think this is where people are going to be. There is going to be a lot of judgment on Justin Trudeau, unfortunately. And I think it's really going to be people are going to be um, thinking about what he did as prime minister and what he didn't do as prime minister, and just making those decisions. And I think that's going to be weighing very heavily on him as well, because I do think that in the near future, at least, Justin Trudeau, he's very concerned about the future of Canada, and I think in particular with regards to Donald Trump becoming president again. Entertainment only YouTube, like I said before, but he's concerned, and I think it's almost like he's losing sleep over it. But I do think he's very worried about the future of Canada and what's going to happen with the tariffs and how they're going to deal with the bullying and the threats from Donald Trump down south, who has been calling Canada the 51st state, which is quite an arrogant thing to say when you think about it, because Canada is a sovereign nation. So that's just Trump just being an absolute, can't say that, Trump being nasty, let's just say that. I had to filter my thoughts then. But that's the immediate future where Justin Trudeau is going with this. And in that way, I think that's why he's really, what, as I said, so currently he's really wanted to shine some light on the subject. So I think that's what's happening with Justin Trudeau right now. At the base of the deck, there's the Queen of Cups. So clearly, it's a very emotional issue for him, and this is water, so it doesn't get much more emotional than that. But with the Queen of Cups, in this Queen here, she actually is above the water. So in as much as it is an emotional issue, he's risen above it. He's not drowning in the emotion of it all, but it's almost like it's lapping at his feet. And I think in a way that's the reason why, if you go back to the Sun card, that's why he's decided to move forward, because he's just felt the desire to move on. And I think he's done this because he feels he's done what he feels is the right thing to do by Canada. But clearly, he's very, very, very concerned about what's going to happen with Canada. Let's keep going. So how is Canada going to go dealing with Trump? How, Spirit, is Canada going to go dealing with Trump? How is Canada going to go dealing with Trump? generally speaking, how is Canada going to go dealing with? Oh, okay, that fell out. Eight of Swords. Yeah. Okay. Nine of Pentacles. Judgment. Page of Wands. Nine of Wands. Three of Swords. Okay. Coming up, guys. I actually think these cards are quite telling here. So basically, how you going to go, Canada? The Eight of Swords has come up again, and once again, I think that um, for Canada as a nation, I think the most important thing that they can do from an esoterical point of view is just realize that, I mean, they do feel an entrapment, I think, also to Trump, but to realize that um, if they cut those, if they loosen the blindfold and loosen the ropes around them, those emotional ties that are binding themselves up, and look into their what they've got intuitively as a country. I think they can break free because the thing is with the Eight of Swords, um, the person thinks that they're bound up and they're paralyzed, but actually they're not. So this is good news for Canada. Like they may be a sense that Canadians are feeling a bit trapped or a bit unsure what to do or where to go ahead. But if the Canadian people and the Canadian government can really understand that Knight of Pentacles, that they actually have a lot of wealth, they actually have all the resources that they need. They have a lot of resources, a lot of wealth. And because they've worked hard as a country and they've maintained their independence. And I think, irrespective of whatever's going to happen with the USA and with Donald Trump as president, I think it's really important for Canada to understand their wealth and their worth. I do think at some point there will be some announcements coming up. I would say this is going to be the announcement coming up of the new Prime Minister to replace Justin Trudeau. And then I think what's going to be happening with the Judgment card, it's going to be a bit of a real wake up call for Canada as they move forward with a new Prime Minister. And it's almost like, it's almost like you could look at this new leader as waving the bugle, as like, with the bugle, like making the announcements, and people are going to be metaphorically raising up from the dead, but metaphorically speaking. It's going to be a real wake up call for Canada, that they really need to rise to the occasion and really believe in what they've got and believe in their resources as a country, because they will feel, like I said, they will feel a bit embattled with this. And I do think the relationship with the US, it's going to cause them some kind of, it's definitely going to cause like some kind of mental pain, mental anguish. But I think you could almost look at the three swords. It's almost like you've got the sword of the Justin Trudeau leaving, you've got the sword of the new prime minister, and you've got the sword of Donald Trump. It's like it's the three of them that are, these three issues are going to be permeating into the hearts and the minds of Canada. But I kind of think once they they kind of work through those issues, then with the Knight of Wands, they're going to be able to move ahead. They're going to be able to be quite confident and move ahead, and just have those announcements and make the changes that they need to make. Like the Wands are action, their fire, their energy, and just to get on their horse metaphorically and just move ahead, irrespective of what's happening south of the border. But they will have to make those clear decisions. And I think for Canada, they're going to have to work out, because God knows, once again, entertainment, only YouTube. God knows Donald Trump is going to be coming up with a lot of blustering and saying this and saying that, and he's going to do this and he's going to do that. And I think very much with Donald Trump, it's going to be a matter of working out what is real and what's not real for the Canadians. And I think once they kind of can ascertain what's real and what's not real through all the bluster and all the rhetoric and everything else that's going on, then they're going to have a much better chance at dealing with the emperor, dealing with Donald Trump. And unfortunately, this is not a good emperor. In like a good emperor An emperor is above a king, but a good emperor will actually take care of his of his people. And if you look at this card here, you can see that underneath the emperor's garments, he's actually got armor on, right? So a good emperor will actually get out there and get on the battlefields and defend his people. He won't just sit in his little cottage or sit in his little palace or whatever. He'll actually will get out there. But a bad emperor can be quite manipulative and quite controlling and very harsh. And I think this is really the emperor that unfortunately Donald Trump will be in aligned with all of this stuff going on here. So I think for Canada it's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride, but I think if they just believe in themselves and can draw into their resources and work out what's real and what's not real, then they're going to have a much better chance at going forward. I'm just going to have a quick look at the tariffs before I go, okay? Hold on, folks. As I was saying before, from my understanding, Donald Trump is going to be trying to slap on 25% tariffs on Canada, which is not great. So, Canada, how are you going to go specifically? How are you going to deal with these tariffs in the US? Oh, cards are flying everywhere, folks. All right, Canada, how are you going to manage these tariffs? How are you going to manage with these tariffs? And how are you going to manage with these tariffs? All right, folks, come on down. So how are you going to go with the tariffs, Canada? Queen of Cups. Okay, Page of Swords. Yeah, Three of Swords. Temperance. King of Swords. Okay. So Canada, how are you going to go with these tariffs? It's funny how these cards keep repeating themselves. Queen of Cups. So once again, it's going to be a very emotional issue for Canadians. But once again, if you think about if you think about the regular RWS deck, the cup is closed, but I'm using Lena and Sienna's deck, the One World Tarot here, and you can see that the lid's off the cup. And I think if nothing else, it's like okay, now they know what they're dealing with regards to the tariffs. It's out on the open, the lid's off the cup. There's no more speculation, and I think like I said, it is going to be an emotional issue. But like I said before, with the Queen of Cups, like she's actually rising above the emotion. Like she's not drowning in it. She's a queen. Like she's not a page or or a knight. She's a queen. So it is very emotional, but she's mature enough to have it sorted. Like the emotions are there, but they're not overtaking her. And I think Canada is going to think, okay, here we go. Don't get overly worried and upset about this from an emotional level. I think they're going to come out fighting with the page of swords. I think I think if Trump starts his BS towards Canada, Canada going to say, "Hey, I don't think so," or "What for?" They're going to fight this as much as they can, and they're going to try to protect themselves as much as they can. I mean, it is going to cause pain for Canada, unfortunately. And once again, this same card, like I really shuffled this deck and this card's come up again. The the transition from Trudeau to the new Prime Minister and with reference to Trump, the triple things that are happening here, it's going to leave its mark on Canada. It's not going to be an easy path for them. But they will find with the temperance cards come up again, they will find that balance. And it's almost like I think Canada will be able to have one foot in the ground and have one foot in the water. And I think it's going to be important for Canada not to become too grossed in the horror of what is going to be happening, but to try and find some balance, and pour their energy into what they have. Like you can see here, the water. It's not It's not being wasted. It's going into another cup. And I think they're just going to have to reallocate their resources and work out of ways to deal with the tariffs. King of Swords, I think this is going to be the new Prime Minister of Canada, really looking at it analytically and really trying to sort out what's going on and think about what's best for the country. And if you think about the if you think about the King of Swords, like he's actually looking straight on. And I think so. This king is very, very, very. He's air. He's very, very much in his head, and he's going to be looking at the issues straight on. He's going to be forming new alliances with other countries. So I think one of the things that Canada is going to do with regards to these tariffs is they're going to be looking for new trading deals outside of the US. So I think if the US is going to be slapping all these tariffs that the Canadians are going to have to pay, I think Canada's going to think, okay, well, all right. If you're going to do that to us, we're just going to have to look for other countries um, to supply what we need. We don't need you, US, as much as you think we do. I think that's what they're going to be doing, and that's part of the new administration in Canada, looking at things really analytically and being very, very, very much on the defensive. It's almost like I'm getting the impression here that Canada's not going to lie down. They're going to fight, and they're going to do whatever they can to protect their country. And they're just going to call things out. And in a way, with this Ace of Swords, they're going to call out the BS and they're going to make these new beginnings. Like aces are always new beginnings, but it's going to be a very different new mental attitude, I think. A really new mental attitude. And in a way, you could say like piecing the crown. And I think in a way, they're going to be severaging some of those ties with the USA because I think they're just not going to be able to handle whatever crap Trump's going to throw at them. So they're just going to look for stuff elsewhere. And I think they're gonna pursue it. They're going to pursue with a Knight of Swords. They're going to get out there and pursue foreign markets. They're going to pursue um, different trading partners with a vengeance. They're going to get on their metaphorical horse and they're going to go for it. And they're going to say to these people, "Hey, Queen of Pentacles," and it's come up again. We have a lot of resources. We have a lot of things that you can trade with us, and I think that's how Canada's um, going to deal with it. And then metaphorically, with this Ace of Wands, bang, deal with that, Trump. We've moved on, and we don't need as much produce from the USA as you think we do. So you can take your tariffs and you can shove it somewhere where the sun doesn't shine. And I think it's going to be the world. It's going to be a change in a new beginning in their relationship financially with the USA. It's going to be a game changer, I think. It's going to be a game changer. And then once it goes through that thing, there's going to be a new beginning with the Ace of Cups. It's going to be an outpouring, I think, of relief once they get these new trading partners and work through things. It's going to be like, oh my God, thank God this is over. And the thing with tarot is it doesn't predict time that well, but I think inevitably this will happen, and I think this will be the justice of the situation where Canada is just making these judgment calls, about once again trying to find that balance. If you look at the scales here, like what do we need from America? What do we need from the US? Do we need it or don't we need it? If we don't need it, we're going to look for it somewhere else. And once again, with death, it's going to be a new beginning. It's going to be transitional for that. And I know Lena has said that the resemblance of this person here is regards to the Yeti is not uncoincidental. Hi, Lena, if you're watching this. But this is going to be very transitional for Canada and waiting for the new day to come up. This is where this is going. And literally counting their losses from the training deals and everything with America and just walking away from the devil, from Trump himself. It's like I think they're going to break these chains. Like if you think about the devil card, it's like, the people are they're free to break those chains. I mean, they're in the devil card can mean a lot of different things, right? But here, Canada's going to break away. They're going to say, you know what, we don't have to do all our trading with you, USA. We can get this for other markets. And they're just going to hold on to their resources, watch their pennies. They're going to work together as a country. And like I said, with these, they could even, I'm thinking, I'm wondering if there's going to be three new trading partners in particular with Canada, or three areas where they're going to increase their trade with other countries as opposed to the USA. And I think that's what they're going to do. Canada is just going to make these decisions like, do we need to trade this with the USA? No. Okay, where else can we get this from? Do we need this from the USA? No. Where can we get this from? I can see them kind of breaking away from the USA as far as these things go. So yeah, that's what I'm getting for all of that. I might just do one more thing, guys. Hold on for a second. I'm just going to have a quick look at the flip side of this, folks, if I can. And apologies, I know this is a longer video than what I would normally do, but hang in there, okay? I just want to see what effect these tariffs that Trump's going to propose, how's it going to affect the USA? So what will be the effect of these tariffs on the USA? I mean, okay, I'm trying not to put in my bias in with this. So I'm trying not to, yeah. So I'm just going to ask you, Spirit, what effect will these tariffs have on the USA? What effect will these tariffs have on the USA? So the USA tariffs, what effect will they have on the USA? All right, guys, come on down. Okay, so what effect will these tariffs have on the USA? Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Chariot. Tower. Ouch. Six of Pentacles. All right. I mean, America, with the Queen of Pentacles, America has a lot of resources, right? So these tariffs, to a certain extent, I think that America is going to be able to absorb them because, as I see, my feeling is that I think a lot of countries are just going to say to the US, you know what, we don't want your business. If you're going to do this to us, we'll find it somewhere else. And so it's going to be, it's going to put some strain on the US economy, and they're going to have to balance. They're going to have to downsize. I think it's going to be a bit rocky, and it's almost like, I mean, I think the USA will be okay, but to some extent. But with the Two of Pentacles, like I said, they're just going to have to rejuggle their finances as well internally and what they're spending their money on. Um, then America's just going to go after new markets. I mean, bloody hell, they're just going to go looking for new areas to do trading with. I'm wondering that maybe they might have to rethink these tariffs, but they're just going to go bolting off into wherever they want to go bolting off. And then I'm talking about the government here, whatever Trump decides he wants to do. And once again, YouTube entertainment only, yeah, because it's going to bring a sudden change. And I think Trump has been saying that he's going to put these taxes on, and I think it's definitely going to be a tower moment for his administration. I think there's going to be one of many, but it's going to be a sudden change to what he's thinking, because I think that and I don't really want to go onto his head, right? It's not a good place, but I think that Donald Trump is just thinking, well, we can start, charging all these tariffs to everybody or to Canada, and I think to Mexico, and from my knowledge, I don't think Australia has come onto his radar yet because he probably doesn't even know that we are. But if you're watching, we're just a little island down in south, south of Indonesia. You'll find us there. You've got beaches and sharks and spiders and snakes. um, but yeah, but getting serious again, I think that it's just going to cause an abrupt change to the American economy. Um, and I think people are going to be thinking about that. It's almost like there's going to be a reallocation of resources, having to reallocate resources to different areas and what they're going to be spending and who's going to get who, what's government spending, how much is the government receiving. It's going to be a bit of a realignment with the Two of Pentacles because in a way, you can almost say too with the Two of Pentacles there is a manipulation here as well, which is what Trump is wanting to do. But I do think it's going to come back, and I think it's going to come to bite him on the bum, um, bite the Trump administration on the bum. I don't think that. I don't think it's going to go. I mean, we are talking America, right? So we're talking a country that has a lot of resources. So I'm not seeing like famine or destruction. I'm not seeing that, but I'm seeing it's going to be a change that the Trump administration was not expecting because people are going to be losing. People are just not going to be having as much trade with the USA because of these tariffs. And in a way, you could even say with the chariot, like Trump's going to go after these countries. Like say, if Canada, say for example, has I don't know, another trade deal with Australia, Trump will just go after that and trying to sabotage that. But I think that the USA will be okay, but it's going to be a change. I mean, there's no way that there's not going to be a change with this. Um, Unfortunately, I wish I had better news, but like I said, with this tower moment, it's going to be unexpected and it's going to be fast. I don't think Trump is going to be expecting this to happen. In his eyes, the tariffs are a good idea, but I'm not convinced of that. I mean, obviously, I'm not convinced of that tariffs. It's just going to really wreck everything. But well, not wreck everything, but it's going to cause some pain. So and it's global. Like what's happening, what's happening in the States with all of this. It's not just America's problem, it's the world's problem, and it's going to affect all of us. We are really living in historical times, and I think we just have to batten down the hatches and just deal with it the best that we can. Um, the really important thing that I know some of the other readers are stressing, and I agree with them, it like don't think that you're on your own. Like we're all here together, and just try not to become overwhelmed by what's going to happen or what we think is going to happen. Like don't be ruled by the fear of it. Um, it's like there's a lot of speculation out there as well, and I know that I've just done a tarot reading, so I mean, or a few of them, but you could say that that's speculative as well. I understand that, but I'm just doing this as a possibility of what could happen because tarot is just like it's an opinion of a good friend, right? Um, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to be in for a bit of an interesting ride, to put it nicely. Um, but I think Canada's going to be okay. I think Canada's going to, it's almost like have a few teething problems, but it's going to be okay. And there's just going to be like, there's just going to be like some kind of a realignment, I think, on a global stage as well. Like overseas, there's going to be a real alignment. Um, but I wish that once again YouTube entertainment only. I mean I wish that this wasn't happening, and I wish that Kamala Harris was going to be president. I just wish that with all my heart, but it's not going to happen. So we just have to deal with it. So anyway, folks, that's what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm getting from the cards. So thanks for watching, and I do apologize that I know that this was longer than what I would normally do. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.